Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head up to Gothenburg, or Göteborg as you would say in Swedish, and we're doing another visit to Stigbergets Bryggeri. Now, as if you've watched my other reviews before, and if you're up to date with Swedish beer in general, you will know that this is a brewery that is getting a lot of plaudits, quite rightly these days. So we're going to return to Stigbergets, like I said, and we're having a look at the Muddle today. You'll be seeing this review the Monday after this beer was released, but this one is another one of their IPAs. It comes in at 7% ABV and it should be really nice. It's rated 99 overall on Rate Beer and within the style. This beer I think was released on tap and in keg a little bit before it came out in the bottle, of course. This one was one of the small partiers that we got in Systembolaget, but of course this is a style these guys are very well known for. There's the GBG Beer Week and the Amazing Haze under the Stigbergets label. The same brewer, Ole Anderson, of course, has his own company, OO Brewing, and you have the Narangi in there too. And this one, as I say, if you are wanting to get into Swedish beer, OO Brewing and Stigbergets are a very, very good place to start, and Gothenburg is a really good beer city these days, so do make sure you go and visit that if that's what you're into and you want to come to Sweden. But yeah, so anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other Stigbergets reviews that I've done before. No doubt I will add some more in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Swedish beers that I've reviewed for you before. That's constantly being added to, of course, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys, and the support that you give the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Stigbergets Bryggeri then. So as I've told you before, Stigbergets Bryggeri are based up in Gothenburg, Göteborg as you would say in Swedish, of course, and they were founded by Nils Hultkrantz and Richard Simonsson. So the pair actually own two bars in the city that share one kitchen. This is Bar Kino and the Hagabjörn's Cafe, and they're located on Linnegatan, and they were founded back in 2007. But originally the idea was to brew a few beers that they could sell in the bars, but this led to them kegging and selling the beer to other pubs, and eventually to actually bottling the beers from November 2014. So the original beers were mainly English and German styles. More recently, of course, they've been expanding into the more hoppy American styles of beer. But they started out with a 1,000 litre brew kit from Slovakia, but they upgraded to a 2,000 litre GTM system from Denmark in December of 2014, and apparently they do want to double this capacity whenever they can afford to. And of course, with the recent success that this brewery has, I wouldn't bet on that being too far away. Of course, they really do have a very good name for themselves these days. But Niels and Richard are joined at the brewery by two brewers, one of whom of course is Ole Anderson from OO Brewing as well, and there's another three people involved there who deal with like logistics, packaging and various other things too. So there's a lot of interesting activity going on at this brewery. They do have quite a few different beers. I think it's about 15 or so that they produce under the Stigbergets label, and of course all of the OO Brewing beers are produced in the Stigbergets brewery as well. So as I said, if you want to try some Swedish beers, Stigbergets is a very, very good place to start, and OO Brewing of course do some awesome things too. It's the same brewer, so the beers kind of are this very similar styles. But yeah, really looking forward to this one. You can check out my other reviews from these guys, and if you want to learn more about the brewery and the different beers, do make sure you check out the link in the description below. But yeah, let's get on to the tasting of this beer then. So I'll just bring up the camera and let you have a little look at the artwork of this one before we open up. If I can find my cursor, there we are. So as you can see, this is actually quite a nice style of artwork. I have to admit, I do like the kind of psychedelic thing there. It's almost like these kind of fish just swimming together. It's like a sort of fish shoal actually, and there you can see there is the standard Stigbergets bottle cap on this one, so it should be a really, really quite nice beer, this one. So without further ado then, let's get this guy out and we'll get on to the tasting. Like I said, a 7% IPA. I'm not sure if it's going to be one of these kind of New England style IPAs, but when it's Stigbergets, we do know that it is going to be really good. But as soon as you open up that beer, you can smell some of the nice kind of juicy fruits coming off this one. It really does smell very, very nice. I did read on one of the other blogs, on one of the Swedish beer blogs, that it was Columbus, Citra and Mosaic that were used in this one, but I couldn't find confirmation of that online. But we'll give it a taste and see what we can pick up from it. It does have an oat malt base to it though, which should be quite interesting. But as you can see, this beer is poured a really bright yellowy colour, this one. It's almost just like, you know, tropical fruit juice or pineapple juice or something like that. There's a small frothy white head on this one. It is kind of perfect white. It's not cream or anything like that. There's a few big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of that head there. You can see little teeny bits of sediment just floating around in this one, but you know, it's exactly what you would expect of one of these big hazy IPAs. But yeah, it should be really nice. As you can see, if I put my fingers behind the glass, there's no transparency to this one at all. It really is very opaque. But let's take a closer look at the aroma then and see how we get on with this one. Oh yeah. It's pretty much what you'd expect. It's a big sort of juicy, big fruit juice note coming out of this one. Yeah, so with this one, I think there's a good bit of passion fruit coming out of this. There's a lot of mango in there too. I definitely think there's a good bit of mango. And on top of that, you can smell some of these lighter sort of notes. I do think there's some citra in here, I'll be honest with that. I do wonder, maybe, yeah, I think there's some citra or some mosaic in here. You can smell these sort of lighter tropical fruit notes out of this one. Yeah, it's really interesting. But I think there's passion fruit in there. There's a sort of, there's definitely mango. It's passion fruit and mango for me that's coming out of this one. If it's passion fruit, it does make me wonder if there's Simcoe in there. Of course, that's the big hop for Simcoe, of course. It's always fun when you're not sure of the hops in a beer, of course, just to have a guess and see what's in here. But I think there's maybe some Simcoe and some citra in there. Maybe mosaic, of course. Although mosaic was the one that they used primarily for the Amazing Haze, and it does smell quite a bit different to the Amazing Haze. I would say that. It doesn't quite have the same orangey notes, but it does have some of the lighter tropical fruits that you'd also associate with that hop. So I think it's more citra. It's more likely to be citra that's in this one because of the mangoes, but behind that you can pick up some of the, there's a sort of lychee and kind of gooseberry thing going on there, maybe like a little bit of pineapple or apricots or papayas. You know, it's got that lighter kind of juicy tropical fruit note to it. And underneath that, of course, you can smell some of the floral kind of aromatic character to the beer. It's almost a sort of spicy kind of, yeah, it's almost like a spicy floral aromatic character that's coming out of this one. And when you can also smell some of the nice sort of bready and oaty character coming out of this one. You can definitely pick up a little bit of that. There's almost a bit of biscuity sweetness in there as well. But really it kind of is everything you'd expect from this kind of New England style IPA. So the nice big fruity juicy characters. As I say, mangoes, passion fruit, then you've got a little bit of lychee, maybe a bit of gooseberry I think as well, but the more prominent ones out of that, I think it's pineapple, a little bit of papaya maybe, and some kind of some apricots and things in there. But yeah, a nice little bit of spicy floral character. It's, you know, it's the typical thing you'd expect from these New England style IPAs. So just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma out of this one, and before you get stuck in. But we're going to try this now. So this one is the Muddle, one of these New England style IPAs from Stigbergets Bryggeri. Comes in at 7%. Should be really nice. Let's get stuck in. Ska. Oh yeah. You know, it's what you'd expect. The first impression that I have of this one is that it's not quite as bitter as the Amazing Haze was. There is a big debate about which one of these three beers is better. I mean, Narangi, Amazing Haze, and also the GBG Beer Week. A lot of people seem to think the GBG Beer Week, and I think that's kind of maybe a little bit of the hype surrounding the Nelson Sauvin. The Nelson Sauvin has some really nice sort of green, white, grapey flavours, of course. There is a big debate about that. But I don't think this one is as hoppy as any of those. It feels a little bit less hoppy and more juicy than any of those three beers. I don't think it's got the same IBUs, but that said, it's still a really quite nice beer, this one. It's really nice and juicy. It's an easy drinking one, which is exactly what you want from this style. I do like it. It's really nicely done. And yeah, in terms of the malt base with this one, of course, I always say the malt base comes out right across the middle of your palate. You can feel a little bit of a kind of grainy, bready thing going on in the middle of your palate. The oaty character is just coming out quite nicely. It's got a little bit of that almost kind of creamy. I don't know if they've put lactose in this beer, of course, but it does have almost just a little bit of a lactosey feel to the malt base as well. But yeah, I think that's fair to say, a sort of white bready malt base. There's a nice little bit of oaty character mixing in with that, and I think there's a little bit of biscuity sweetness too. If you go right into the middle of the palate, there's a nice sort of biscuity sweetness coming out of this beer. The malt base is kind of exactly what you'd expect. So on the hoppy side of things, in the back corner of the palate, it's actually very, very floral. It really is. It's got a little bit of herbal character to it almost as well, but as you come further forward, you can feel on the sides of your palate that it just gets that little bit drier, and you can feel there's almost a slightly peppery, spicy character to the nice floral aromaticity that this beer has. As you go around the front curve of the palate, you can feel some of that floral character just lingering there, but it's distinctively more light and just a little bit more grassy as well. This is good. I mean, I can see right away why it's got the rating it has. So if you like these New England style IPAs just to be a little bit more juicy and slightly less hoppy, then I think you'll enjoy this one. It's not anywhere near, it's got more hops to it than the Bastard Princess from Amar that you saw me review recently. It's not quite as juicy as that one is. It still has some of the hoppiness that the GBG Beer Week and the Amazing Haze and the Narangi all have, but I don't think it's quite as pronounced. But that said, it could just be the fact that those were the first beers in that style that I tried, so of course it's something new, and you do have to be aware of that if you're reviewing beer, that sometimes, you know, you'll try something and think, oh, you know, that's bitter as hell, but then you'll go back to it a bit later and it's not quite the same. But just the way my palate is just now, this one just does not feel quite as bitter as the other one, as I remember the other ones being. But yeah, it's really good. I really quite like this one. For me, the bitterness in this one, it's somewhere between the juicy side of things that you're getting from the Amar Bastard Princess, but it does have a little bit of that kind of nice, spicy, floral hop presence that the OO and the Stigbergets ones normally have. I do like that. If you just go behind the front curve of your palate there, you get this little oily bubble that I always talk about, where the nice fruity, juicy characteristics come out in the beer. So for me, it's passion fruit that's kind of underpinning this one. I think there is some Simcoe in here. It's passion fruit for me that's just kind of underlining that. There's maybe a little bit of grapefruit coming out, but for me it really comes out more as passion fruit. It's not quite got the same sort of almost, I always find grapefruit to be just a little bit sour. It doesn't quite have the same grapefruity presence that you'll get from some other hops. But yeah, I'd say there's some there's passion fruit in there. As you move into it a bit more, I think you're getting a little bit of mango as well, and that makes sense if they're using Citra, of course. But then you start to get these nice, lighter, juicy notes, which again I think are characteristic of the Citra. As I move further into the aftertaste, it's a kind of lychee character that's coming off, but earlier on, you can pick up a little bit of maybe pineapple or apricot. I'm not quite sure about peaches. There is a little bit of a kind of regular citrusy character in there as well. It's maybe just a little bit lemony. You can feel that at the start, and that's kind of interacting a little bit, I think, with the almost peppery spice that you've got from the floral character in this beer. But I mean, all of these flavours, it's really nice, and I do find that this one is just a little bit more juicy than some of the other ones have. And I do like each of these beers that they seem to release. I found the Narangi to be a little bit more kind of a bit more sort of orangey, if I remember rightly. Then you had the Mosaic, which was more, it was a lighter sort of tangerine flavour. The GBG Beer Week, of course, the overwhelming flavour in that was these kind of green grapes. But this one again is a bit different because it has a little, it's more passion fruity and more mango. It's a little bit more tropical than the other ones are. So it's interesting just to see how they're kind of, they must be just changing the kind of hop profiles and things that they're using in this beers to make them lean a little bit more towards different fruits. And I do like it, you know, I do hope they continue with this. But the main way to conclude about the flavour of this beer is the fact that it's another very, very solid New England IPA from these guys. It just has a slightly different fruity flavour. I think that's the way to describe this one. Not quite as bitter, but as I said, maybe my palate is just getting more used to these big New England style IPAs, but it's a damn good beer, and in my opinion, you know, it deserves the rating it's got. The 99 that it has, I think that's justified for this one. So if you know, if you like passion fruit and you like mangoes and tropical fruits, I think this beer is going to suit you down to a T. In terms of the mouthfeel of this one, I would say it's mid-bodied. It's got the typical Stigbergets OO mouthfeel, to be honest with you. It's mid-bodied. Carbonation in this one is quite soft, but it does have a little bit of crispness to it at the same time actually. It's got that nice, smooth, but slightly oily mouthfeel to it. There's some big there's a big sort of hoppy bitterness to this one as well. Not quite as hoppy as the other ones, like I said. There's a good bit of juicy fruit character to the beer. There's a little bit of grainy dryness in the middle of the palate, but overall it is quite smooth and it is slightly sweet as well. But as I said, it's a very, very solid beer. I wouldn't expect anything else from Stigbergets. I'm really glad I got to try this one. And like I said, if you compare it to the other ones, I think it's really just the sort of fruity profile that's coming out of this beer slightly differently. This one leans more towards passion fruit and mango, and it's got a little bit of pineapple and all of these sorts of things thrown in. So it's another really, really good beer. It's a New England IPA, and it's a style that's becoming more and more popular. It's one that I enjoy. If you enjoy that style and you like big kind of fruity juice bombs, you are going to enjoy this beer. That's a good way to kind of end this review. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed my take on this one. It's been really cool to try another one of these beers from Stigbergets. I'm hoping that they release more of these in the near future. Another very, very solid beer from these guys, like I said. So thank you once again for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know your favourite ones from Stigbergets, of course, and OO Brewing in the comment section below. It's always great to hear from you guys. But yeah, until the next time, Slander just now, and I will catch you guys very soon. This is the Muddle IPA from Stigbergets Bryggeri. Do make sure you check out all the Facebook and Twitter and all this sort of thing, and do comment with all the things I was mentioning a minute ago. Until the next time, Slander just now, do make sure you give this beer a go and see what you think. Skål.